Okay. Back to Last Word. A stream that I feel is a bit more of an obligation than a desire. It's not like I haven't quit games before in this channel. Silver Grapple I quit because it was too difficult. That Orb game that was a Metroidvania I quit because I got soft blocked. Titan Tactics I quit because it kept crashing and you couldn't save. Cycle 28, which I quit because of it's an ARG. And this game doesn't have any of those problems. I'm not soft locked. There's not been any crashing. It's not hard. It's not an ARG. But as I mentioned last time, it's just the culmination of a lot of little problems and nothing truly exceptional about it to make up for those issues. It's long enough and wordy enough that I don't want to do it in one sitting, so I have to come back to it, and I don't feel great about that, and that's not a great headspace to be in. But to recap, the gameplay style of talk to everyone on the boat, needing to talk to characters back and forth in order to proceed is annoying and frustrating, and one of the worst parts of RPG design, and is pretty well established. The unique combat, such as it is interesting at first, but you quickly solve it. And then you're asked to do it a lot, because if you fight while underleveled, even if you had the strategy to win, you basically just instant lose. So you have to do it a lot. And it doesn't evolve either. All you get from leveling is your character is better at it, and no layers of complexity or intrigue get added. At least not so far. Or at least not enough. Like, there's that thing where, you gain some bonus stuff if you land on a certain conversation peg, but it's not enough to be meaningful. It's not enough to try to go for it. The artwork is adequate, the music is adequate, and the writing, well, I don't care about the characters, I don't care about the plot. All I really care about is the fun, puns, and adherence to a theme. It's kind of fun. But none of that is anything worth going through minor annoyances with no other particularly high spots to draw me in. But that's enough whinging. Let's get to it. Futility is right. Is there another button I could use? That's... Okay. Alright. The buttons are so weird. Alright, talk about private prattle with people.
Yeah.
And the professor had, had a large effect on private prattle. The whole ordeal is reverberated through two houses. I have to wonder what other soldiers he affected, and what other problems have arisen from it. After all, the professor couldn't have come across his own house title by accident. And let's try to clear out each person as opposed to each topic. I think that could be better. It's true that the Seymour house was, or is, penniless. The sale of the estate might have been of use if Mrs. Seymour stuck around. But the Seymour have plenty of estates to sell, and not many would have the price and prestige of the official home of the Seymour family has. Professor Chatters must have paid a fortune, but why? He must really like this dusty old place. If you forgot, it's because he believes basically the Philosopher's Stone is here somewhere. Mrs. Seymour attended a few of my best matches when I was still fighting. It seemed that she wore the same jewelry every time. But I wasn't interested in the ornaments so much as the lady beneath, if you follow. She was fetching, to say the least.
Yo.
You're savvy with photography, right? I found this stuck in my shoe. It looks like it might be a bit of a puzzle. This reminds me of a puzzle, Lucas. I can't seem to wrap my head around it. Is there something your professional eyes can glean that mine can't? Put 967. What, the fireplace? Where did this bottle come from? There's a lot of weird stuff written in the back. Okay. Do you want me to interact with the logs?
Hey.
Whoops. Back to photography.
Hey.
Tea chairs, the doll, lamp bottle, wood, the... Okay, yeah, it's the doll. There's a small number dial here beneath the lampshade doll's legs. Let me see if I can spin the numbers into the correct position. Special drawer popped open. There's something written on the wall. Bottom, 3, press wall. I'll try to remember it. I have forgotten the first one. It was like 2 walk pace or something like that. I don't really care. What is it I needed? Hidden word 2, okay. Oh, would you look at this? It's a rather novice photograph I found beneath an empty glass of port. It must have been used to keep the glass from perspiring into the wood. Was this one of yours? 712... At the doll in the office. I assume. Nope, that requires Seymour House. I'm pressing the wall. That's what it wants from me. And maybe I just need level 5 Seymour House to be able to continue this little chain. Truth be told, I don't drink as much as I used to. I've been sipping through the night just as the professor commanded, but this is rather rare. When I was a new recruit, the other recruits and I would ferment our own wine in the toilet. It was quite strong, unique aroma. We drank it as comrades. They poked fun at me because I would flush red after a few sips, but it was good-natured bonding. You should have considered becoming a military photographer. We'd send you around the world. Right, that's everything from her for now. There's a bottle of mysterious wine nestled beside the armchair. The label is like nothing I've ever seen. Not only did it say nothing but the wine, but it told me how many ascots I have. A young private fellow Prattle was a large source of gossip a few years back, when he had first eloped with Mrs. Seymour. Naturally, the other matters have taken the spotlight. The scandal between them and melted away, that is, until tonight. It is a marvel how the past never truly disappears. It haunts us, good or bad, and carries with it a new weight even after so long a time. Mrs. Seymour enjoyed looking her best, and let me tell you, her best was quite nice to my old eyes. Oh, would everyone stop being so thirsty for poor Seymour's mom? Jesus. I asked about the house. Like, the family in general. I found an envelope with a bunch of photographs inside. I was going to show you, but I lost them on my way to the washroom. But don't worry, they couldn't have gotten far. Maybe the other guests found a few.
Hey.
I ended up mixing a Tofel, Carlin, and Dale together. Made a weird color, but was much tastier. You got it, boss. Honestly, I don't hate Private Prattle. My mother made it her own decision, but he got swept up in it. She's always been a strong leader. I find it fascinating that she would rather lead a young man to her quarters than lead her family back into success, though. In any case, I don't blame Prattle, even if I don't really care to think of him. Okay, let's go talk to Red. Mrs. Seymour was often slathered in tacky jewelry. It's hard not to notice her tasteless tastes. She often gloated about her husband, bringing home some of her favorite pieces, her necklace and bracelets in particular. Her husband, you see, has been deceased for many years, but he was once a general in the St. Loudon Forces. Hey, I got some St. Loudon's Forces lore. He was a historian. I find it odd that he would bring her jewelry from work, but I suppose that's why it was so awfully tacky. My husband brings me jewelry as well, and even though he works for the military, you can plainly see he only buys the best. Also, he's still alive, which places me ahead of Mrs. Seymour in every regard. My husband is one of the top linguists in the St. Loudon Forces. I know this without ever having seen him in action. The way of any Prattle name is through the military, and my hubby would never forsake this honor by not doing his very best. My son, however... Photography truly is a lost art, although I'd never suggest it to a member of a fine house. Members of the middle class are better suited. The wine is superb, to be quite honest. Considering that we're being forced to drink, the professor could have chosen much worse. Oh, dear fellow. I truly hope you're happy. Alright, let's try to get something on St. Loudon Forces. A person who hasn't served in the armed forces doesn't deserve to live in St. Loudon. Even I spent my fair time in the service as a colonel. No colonel was as courageous as I was. We lost many good men. Oh. Military gossip isn't my expertise. I suppose my father might have known a thing or two, but he's been gone for many years. I'd have a chat with General Sandoff if I were you, which I'm not, just for clarity. Yeah, I suppose I just have to get level 5 on the house to be able to continue that. It's interesting that you should bring up the late General Seymour. I want to respect his image, but to tell you the truth, General Seymour was a thief, no doubt. I mean, there is some doubt. But as a historian, he had access to special artifacts. The St. Loudon's Forces have been unearthing history in every place we help conquer. That includes collecting and categorizing ancient pieces. General Seymour was among the few with access to these historical finds, and many disappeared during his visits, mostly old rocks it seems. Luckily for him, he died before charges could be pressed. I'd say he's bargaining with St. Peter now, but I'm not even Catholic. General Seymour's repulsive behavior churns my guts in a way that almost makes me want to drive my fist into the nearest face. No need to worry, however, as a woman of the St. Loudon Forces, I'm specially trained to control my brutal impulses. Alright, getting closer to something.
Yo.
I hear it's astonishingly simple to steal from the military when you're a higher rank. The forces are prone to monetary waste as it is. But maybe don't tell Mr. Boasting I said that. He's a rather loyal veteran. Alright, looks like he'll be my next ticket. Is it true that General Seymour was stealing from the military museum? Are there no good men left in the military? I have half a mind to come out of retirement just to whip these ingrates into moral shape. Nope. So you think my father was stealing from the St. Loudon Military Museum? Interesting. I can't really speak for his character. He was often very busy. It was mostly me and my mother. Mother was the master of the Seymour house, so father never needed to take time from his job to host the estate. But I had been living there for a while, so I think there was a hidden room that father used to go when he was home. I can hardly recall. I never went in, nor did I care to. I suppose that if father hid anything from us, it's in that concealed room. Which is presumably behind the doll. I hear that General Seymour was prone to theft. This news is fresh and hot, dear. I can't wait to ask my husband about it. I wonder what Mr. Boasting has to say. He was once in the forces, and I'm sure he has an opinion. I wouldn't be surprised if this old place had a million secret rooms, Miss Gossip. I've been to all the estates. I'm a seasoned gentleman. Most of the houses are laden with secrets, and this estate is by far one of the oldest. I expect there to be hidden quarters everywhere. In fact, the boasting house estate has more secret rooms than non-secret rooms. Oh-ho! I suggest looking for a statue of some sort. Your best bet is that the Seymours locked their rooms with permanent fixtures. Well, there's hidden word 2, so I can continue on. Look at it! Now you can actually look at it! This whole decoration is fairly suspicious. I wonder if it has anything to do with the room I'm looking for.
Eee.
Miss Gossip, hold up. Are you looking into that statue there? Looking into? I suppose. I'm investigating it, for reasons. You're looking for secrets, eh? That's not your concern. You may as well admit it, most of us are too. Let me help. I've crawled around all the secret areas in the McCall estates as a kid. I know a lot of clever tricks. See how that little piece of stone is a bit discolored? Try pressing that. Alright. It laughed at me. Fantastic. Now see that mechanical keypad that folded out? You have to use it to input a code. This is fairly advanced. It's like there's a typewriter hidden in the rock itself. I wish I could take a picture of it. But what's the code? Well, let me take a look. There should be a clue around here somewhere. Ah, yes, that could be right. What is it? Did you crack the code? No, not yet, but I know what I'm looking for. Once you have the clues, you get the pleasure of solving the code. What are the clues? The clues are all over, don't you see? There's writing, placement, structures, the surrounding objects, etc. Finding clues is half the puzzle, and thus half the adventure. That sounds riveting, Mr. McCall, but I'm not as thirsty for adventure as you are. And I don't have all the time in the world. Tell me the clues. You're spoiling the fun, Miss Gossip. There's little else to accomplish tonight. Don't you want this to be fulfilling? I'll be fulfilled when we input the correct code. Why would you offer to help, then withhold anything that would aid me? I showed you how to access the keypad, did I not? Yes, thank you. Now show me how to press the keypad in such a way that a secret passage opens. You haven't even tried. Are you always this stubborn? Trust me when I say you must give it a shot at least once. I assure you that I don't. What else must I do to get your cooperation? I doubt there's any way you can talk me into it. Yeah, well, how about talking? Now let's just do the same old rigmarole as usual. Start with gaining some power, and then gain the tact, according to the shapes your opponent uses. Just always go for the advantage. Circle is beaten by square, and so I shall use square. It is that simple. And every time I do a thing that gains tact, I also get to heal a little bit of my mood, which means I take less damage later. Star is beaten by circle, so I can't use over. So instead I will use a common, whatever that was. Going a little too far over to the left, so just do some things to help me get my position back over. And I can overt and heal my mood and gain a bunch of tact, and now I can start just really punching them with the attacks. Square is beaten by star. At this point it's still good to make his mood worse. Beaten by square. Beaten by circle, but it doesn't matter because I can just win with an overt. Hooray. I think we see eye to eye now, don't you? Let's step outside. And now we beat him up! And now you punch him in the sternum. I hate to do this to you, but I need to know what the code to the statue is. Tell me everything you know. Fine. The code is a fairly simple 5-digit alphanumeric military code. It corresponds to the Seymour house. At least I think so. One of the biggest clues is our nation's flag draped up behind it. Those military codes are somehow used to identify lineage. I don't get it. I don't know much about how the military categorizes the family houses. Unfortunately, neither do I. McCall House has very little military representation. We're generally more in line with administration. But the war sends us a lot of paperwork, so I've seen quite a few come across my desk. That's hardly as useful as I had hoped. I apologize, but if you use your head, the answer is simple. Just find the military code for Seymour House. I assumed you might already know it. Wasn't Gossip House fairly invested in the armed forces? That's irrelevant now. We don't need to talk much about former houses. I didn't intend to be rude, Miss Gossip. Don't fret about it. Well, if that's all you need from me, I'll be, good luck with whatever it is you're doing. No need to say goodbye, Mr. McCall. I'll come back in to share a drink shortly. Sorry for all the awkward hassle. That was a good one. Sometimes those my pop sounds are terrible. You're still looking for the hidden room? Yeah, I need to get into it, but I'm getting pretty tired now. Why do you need to find the room so bad? Shouldn't you be focusing on getting out of here? I do want to leave, but I'm as helpless as you are. This is so bizarre, I can't handle it. Until the professor allows us to go, we have to squirm and drink. No one in the whole world is worse off than us right now. I'm not enthusiastic about our situation either, but I think you're being a bit melodramatic. Maybe, but I'm getting restless. I never thought all of this last word stuff was real, but I'm starting to see the truth of it. For years, Mother had been putting me in my place. She kept me sheltered, but I could have done something about it if I were stronger. There are rumors that she was impossible to defeat in conversation. I believe that's true. She had all the Seymours under her thumb. So do you think she had some sort of supernatural power? Witty. All this feels supernatural, and I can barely swallow it, yet here I am. No matter how hard I try, I can't leave this place. I haven't felt this way since Mother... It's unnerving. How did she do it? I don't know. But I need to get into that room. Why? What's with the interest? No reason. I just do. Okay. Well, if you need help with anything, I'll be sure to let you know, Seymour. Seymour Butts, more like. Alright, time to ask everyone about St. Lauden's forces. The St. Lauden's forces. I never really thought about joining. It just never occurred to me. But I suppose we could use the manpower if we want our country to maintain its strength, right? I'm so tired. Is this part of it? It is. And when you don't get the last word, your body and mind become susceptible. It's taxing and you can wear out quickly. I'm surprised I'm still standing. Well, let's go ahead and do another one of these. You probably need to get him leveled up for something, but I don't know what. Yeah, it's not particularly useful, saving grace. You just die next turn. He leveled up, though. That's the important thing. I think you get the idea. I have no intentions of belittling you any further. But seriously, Seymour, you need to step up your game. Yes, of course. I'll do just that. Even if my sister and I hadn't decided to pursue professional boxing, we still would not have enlisted in the armed service. McCall House is best known for dealing with bureaucracy. I fell back on that profession, and she would have as well. Still, we hold no ill will to the military. It keeps us safe from... well, Now that I think on it, St. Lauden doesn't need much protecting. Ooh, that was weird. You want to know more about military codes? Well, that's a fine thing. It's good to see civilians getting involved in military culture. The St. Lauden forces have codes for various places and occupations, but they also have identifiers for the houses. As a send-off, I have no house code. The Gossips are a defunct house, but it's likely you still have a code on file. I doubt it's used. The Prattle House is one of the Forerunners. In military representation, their code is Pratt, and I believe Boasting House uses Boast. Seymour House is... well, I haven't dealt with paperwork concerning a Seymour, so I can't recall exactly what it is. It shouldn't be too hard to find a book on this subject. Check some of these shelves if you want to be certain. I believe McCall was sniffing around the northwest shelf by that statue. Check there. Oh, okay, if you insist. Yay. Come on. Let's see more. I get it. So you need hidden word to try, I assume. Yeah. That's to prevent sequence breaking, and then you have to actually put it in with the things you've learned. Cat. Wonder what's inside. Is this Professor Chatters? It's him as a younger man, without his trademark mustache and cynical gaze. You need to know about cats! He has a cat next to him. The collar says Harper. It's a white cat just like the one roaming around the estate. The professor must have found this room already and placed this picture here. That means this is a waste of time. Surely if the word was in this room, he would have found it. Ugh. Alright, Woody, no need to be hard on yourself. What's this picture actually mean? A picture is worth 1,000 words, right? The professor must find this memory of his cat awfully special to hide it like this. Maybe that's what I should investigate next. Oh, I already have level 2 cat, don't I? Oh, I guess not. Ah, yes, that gorgeous white-haired cat has been stalking around the estate for years, if I recall. Oh, indeed, that pet has livened up Summer House since long before Professor Chatters bought it. I haven't been to this property since it belonged to the Seymours, but I distinctly remember that white cat being here. If anyone knows more about it, it'd be the master of the Seymour house. He and that cat must have shared this estate for years. This topic is pathetic. Leave me alone. Harper is fairly tame. She doesn't move around much and enjoys human touch. I would pet her all night if I could. Every soldier has their vice, Gossip.
Yeah.
The cat, if she were here on Summer House Estate before Chatters bought it out, I would wager the Seymour's a bit more familiar. Mr. Boasting says that Harper was here before the Chatters bought the estate, eh? That's... well, actually, I do recall this cat. I figured it was some other white cat since her collar says Harper, but now that I look at her, I think it's Mother's cat. Her name is Mew. But why does she have the wrong collar on? Who wants us to think that Mew is Harper? So you're not Harper at all, are you, gal? Level 4 cat required. I wonder why you were given this collar then. It's pretty fancy too. Mind if I take a look? Meow. Good girl. Just hold still while I check it for... This isn't the same collar from the portrait. This looks much newer and... Boop boop. Tippity tap. I can't believe this, Mew. You had the word written on the back of your collar this whole time. Meow. So strange. Harper is etched onto the front, but the word is scratched into the back, almost frantically. And such a familiar word. Marvelous. I'm going to have to take this off, but I doubt you want a collar that says the wrong name anyhow. Immune. Amazing. Amazeballs. The word is wiener. Miss Gossip, I'm sure you're thoroughly inspecting our rather expensive indoor plumbing, but you are needed out here. Why should I come out? The evening is coming to a close. The grand and miraculous professor grows tired of the wait. We expected results much quicker. You may stay in here if you like, but I was told to warn you that the mouth will be activated in short order. Young Master Seymour and the others will be questioned about the you-know-what. His patience is not infinite. He demands results. I need more time. You were given ample time, and to be sure, that extra time was merely some soft-hearted luxury granted by his magnificence. I'll be out in a few minutes, servant.
Hey.
I'm impressed. It looks like Miss Gossip figured it out. Figured what out, McCall? Has she discovered a way for us to beat the professor? No, nothing so grand, but look, one of the estate's secret rooms is behind this shelf. Is that so? I should see if any of General Seymour's pilfered museum artifacts are inside. If so, it's my duty to return them. It would certainly be an appropriate storage. He used the military code to lock the door, which could mean... Don't pester me with trivialities, McCall. All of you aristocrats talk too much. I could swear you've been searching for this room all night. Was I mistaken? Not this room particularly, but a room. Any old secret would do. Then why aren't you in there with that brutish woman? She could be squandering General Seymour's treasured treasure. Oddly enough, my curiosity is worn off a bit. I suppose the joy is in the journey. Plus, I'm a touch too tired to hold my previous excitement. I'm all too familiar with that sentiment. It's late, and the professor's horrifying machine, all coupled with the wine. Ugh! I'm not as young as I used to be. It's hard being in your late 20s. Late 20s? Yes, late 20s. Before you apply interest rates. You must be extremely interesting then. Have you come to usher us out the secret room, servant? Romp around as much as you like. In fact, I encourage you to enter and enjoy the masculine visage of the professor's youth. But the night's activities are coming to a close. I've been informed that you should all prepare to gather around the mouth. Why should I subject myself to more of the professor's insulting insults? Your refusal would be an insult itself, an insult to the host. I suspect after the bottle incident there isn't much lower a prattle can go, unless we count the Seymour incident, that is. Your insolence is... But there's no need to take my word for it. If you have any sense, you'll partake in the night's conclusion and go home to your pillowy beds. There's really no other choice. The mouth can't cut us deeper than it already has, can it? I mean, denying St. Lauden citizens the right to speak freely already goes against everything this country was founded on. It's unethical. I couldn't have said it better. The professor is a disgrace to the patron saint of discourse, and I'm not even Catholic. My patience is wearing thin, servant. I won't wait around for an audience. I'll make my way to see him with you in the way or not. You have a strong bark, General Sandoff. My bite is very much worse. Well then, I suppose you'll be painting outside of his door while he prepares the mouth. Try not to get slobber on the wood flooring. Kitty. Thanks for the collar, Mew. You're a good girl. Well, I can upgrade this, I guess. Well, let's see if I'm safe to finish the game. Gosh, now is hardly the time for idle banter. I'm trying to get to the professor's study to confront him personally. General Sandoff is a rather ignorant person to believe she stands a chance against the professor. Don't you agree, Miss Gossip? I have to agree. I've talked to him personally, General, and he's far above us in skill. You're telling me that the honorary colonel has more raw ability than a general? Hardly. Why else does he hide behind that invention? I need more knowledge. Sure, I'll buy this. Who cares? Probably need to get to level 5 in the house, so I can talk to that doll. Oops. The Seymour house has a rather strange reputation right now. It's an early decline and close to being defunct. With Mrs. Seymour gone, the estate owned by Chatters, and the new master being fairly socially unqualified, well, I'm not actually certain how it held up this long. Maybe the other houses pity Mr. Seymour. Yay. Seymour House Estate isn't the only estate the Seymour House owned, you know, but it's the main one with the most prestige. Luckily, my cousins owned another estate north of the capital. They let me move in after Chatters took over the summer house. And, well, technically all the estates belong to me now. I should take the property for myself, but I don't want to step on any toes. This whole thing is crazy, Witty, but I'm sure you have it under control. Well, I have, the hidden word.
Hey.
Are you still searching around the estate for something, Miss Gossip? I've been browsing the professor's shelves all night, and I have to say, he has an intense interest in old fables and legends. I wouldn't expect so many works of fiction from a man of science.
Yeah.
Did you see that room that opened up behind the bookshelves? Oh my goodness, I was prepared to find some skeletons deep within. Unfortunately for all of us, it's just a dusty old room with a picture of the professor and his unhealthy love of pets. Ugh! Mr. McCall seemed rather enthusiastic to see that secret room open, even if it didn't have much in it. I love a good adventure, and a good puzzle. That room he opened is still open. Not that it used to be closed, but... Well, a gentleman always wonders if there are riddles to be solved, and who solved them. Alright, poster, what do you have to say to me? With wine tasting? Drink the poster! The young professor is drinking a particular wine. Looks like a white wine from Florence, Italy. Wonder if it was any good. That's it. My husband has been serving for more years than I can count. We met at his post. I remember him marching at the head of his unit. Or was that... No, it must have been my hubby, possibly. They all look similar in uniform, though, so I can't be really blamed for forgetting. When I was a colonel in the armed forces, I had many good men following my lead. You would have been impressed, Miss Gossip. General Sandoff over there doesn't come from a named house, but she's an excellent officer, I can tell. Her no-nonsense bearing and integrity is exactly what our military needs. I have a deep respect for her. Okay, now I can continue on. That invention is a creation of St. Lauden's forces, if you recall. If the professor hides behind it, our forces must intend to hide as well. I will not tolerate any bashing of our mighty forces. We have good people out on the field every day making St. Lauden great. I'm just trying to warn you. The professor is strong. If you confront him, he will defeat you. With all due respect, Gossip, I have a much different opinion. Yeah, start 5 points behind. It's fine. Use some early attacks just to even everything out. Yeah, just to get back to center. Or close to it. Four levels is quite a bit to have to come back from, but it's not undoable, I guess. Oh, stop that. The menuing is really bad, actually. It eats inputs, it doubles inputs. Yeah, it's annoying. Okay, I won't be able to attack again, but I'm pretty far over that way and have damaged her quite a bit. And I might not be going that great. Oh, we're both positively uncivilized. Oh, that might be a death. Aw, no, I need to grind again. Oh boy. Now I'm immune to powers of persuasion, I guess.
Hey.
That means now I can, even without being strong enough to beat the professor, I can just ignore what he wants me to do when he beats me. So I guess they're saying that the power of the Philosopher's Stone isn't so much in giving power to words as taking that power away. Or rather that perhaps that the hidden word is the anathema to the Philosopher's Stone. The Philosopher's Stone does give power to words, but this secret word takes that power away. That makes sense, I guess. Yeah, the mood improver thing seems to be really the most important skill to have. Just improving your defense, essentially, is hugely beneficial. Because not only does it make you less likely to die, it also means that your opponent can't push back as hard as you're pushing. Oh, I could have won right there if I did overt. Right, whatever. He didn't even push it back any. Let's go again. Let's go again. Oop. But discourse, not gossip. A handshake, so I start one peg to the left. Oh, handshake's my one weakness. Do a second power charge. And now I have a ton of tact. And I can just start pushing him like this. With all the tact I have built up. Now he's all out of tact, and I still have tons left. In fact, does overt win from here? Not quite. Yeah, saving grace, but it doesn't matter because I have still 10 tact left. In fact, I can just win like this, right? Yeah. Alright, the servant's next to the door. I was like, where'd he go? Sure, got an accomplishment. Not allowed to. And any discourse is undisputed, but no XP is gained. The ultimate conversation killer, and just instant win. But you do need 50 points, which means you have to be at or near level 50, and then you just like, bleh, and they're like, oh no. Okay. Well, let's try again. I do now start with a lot of power and tact. Move it over quite a bit just for safety. skills just really aren't that useful, because, I mean, one is like, oh, gain 5 more tact when you match their thing. I don't care. It's better to hit their weakness, right? In that case, I did it because it just used up the last of my power, so okay, I got a little bonus from it, but it's so insignificant. Anything besides just hitting weaknesses feels like a weakness. Feels like it's always going to be the wrong move. And the reason you can win so consistently is because the AI either doesn't know how to play, hasn't solved the game like a decent player has, or they're taking it intentionally easy on you, which I find to be the more likely outcome. It seems too solvable for even a fairly rudimentary AI to not know how to beat it. Oh, fine. Yeah, the saving grace actually did something this time. She almost got me with the saving grace this time. Look, I'm using the skill that regens my tact when I use the same skill as them. I've done it! I've used the game's strategy! And with that, as long as your opponent continues to use star, you can do a subtle aggressive hit forever, because you'll just regen the tact every turn. Look, it's emergent gameplay! It's really not much. Two bows. Listen, General, I need you to step away from the door. I can handle the professor from here. Why don't you figure out some other way to get his attention? Waiting here solves nothing. Well, in the name of St. Martin of Tours, I think I shall. There's more than one way to skin a cat, as they say. I'll formulate an adequate battle strategy and be back before you can speak a single phrase to that hold-up lunatic. I have no doubt about your cunning. If you need any aid, feel free to ask. You should consider commissioning as an officer, Gossip. Good luck when speaking with Professor Chatters. Mumble grumble. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna talk to him. Seymour, I have to tell you something. You look much less tired than you were earlier. Your flattery needs work, but yes, I'm feeling infinitely more refreshed. I don't know how to put this, but I've managed to break out of the professor's influence. Actually, I put that quite nicely, didn't I? What do you mean? How did you do it? It's odd. I can't really explain it, but I found something that your mother used to use. It's the last word. You have to forgive me, Witty, but I'm still a bit confused about how this works. It's exactly what it sounds like. I have the last word. If I so choose, I can never be beaten in common discourse, because I'll always have it. It's written on the cat's collar I'm wearing. I've managed to conceal it with my fashionable bow tie. There seems to be a lot of nuanced skills within the word itself, but at the very least I can't be persuaded against my will. I just had a discussion with General Sandoff, and I knew that even if she thought she had the last word, she wouldn't. I have full control. I think I heard her swear out loud to a patron saint when she lost. And she's not even Catholic. That's the third time. That's comedy in threes, baby! I'm not laughing. What? Never mind, Seymour. What matters is that I have what I need to upheave the professor's plans and get us out of here. How can I help? I don't think there's anything you can do, to be honest. Ah, really? Okay, I guess that's fair. But then why did you tell me this? Well, because this belonged to your mother. As far as I can tell, the Seymour house prospered mostly because you had this word. I wouldn't feel right taking it from the estate without telling the heir that I was doing so. Then maybe it'd be alright to. Maybe let the heir have control of it again, yeah? Seymour, there's a fine line between ethical obligations and complete stupidity. I'm keeping the last word. Yeah, I knew it was far-fetched when I said it. I'm going to confront the professor in a bit. Hopefully, if all goes well, I'll release this hold on the estate and let everyone leave. What's your plan exactly? Nothing particularly out of the ordinary. I'm simply going to talk to him. This should work just dandy. You have my gratitude, McCall. What in heaven's name are you doing now? Not that it concerns you, but we're trying to find more secret passages. Ever since Whitty began gossiping about estate secrets, the idea has spread like wildfire. It's even caught my third wind. If we can find a secret passage into the study, your attempts at locking the door will be positively nullified. How exciting! You may want to put that enthusiasm to rest, McCall. He's the last person we should be informing of our plans. Maybe so, but as true sportsman gives his opponent a chance to fight fair. I already guessed at your feeble attempts at circumventing the professor's dictation, and you can proceed until your face turns purple. What I meant earlier is what in heaven's name are you doing with the expensive flooring? You are scuffing it! I don't care about your floors, that should be obvious. I tried to help her lift it over, but she seemed intent on pressing down as she pushed. And who is going to scrub this out? I'd ask the servant. You're all children, and I'm the nanny, is that right? I should fix everything you break, clean every mess as you go. I should say so, yes. I don't see anything up there that would act as a trigger or a code input. Make sure you look at the section between the wall and the lamp. If there's any connection, it will have to rope through the wall. Actually, I think I feel something. I flipped a switch, I think. Has anything happened? Oh. Secret bookcase. Heavens, what have we here? I hope this is some dirty secret. Who knows what sort of skeletons are hiding around this dusty old estate? This is new. Oh dear, nothing of interest. Simply some old priceless diamond. Ugh, how boring. A diamond? It's the Philosopher's Stone. I see. It doesn't happen to have anything written on it, does it? Don't be silly. Why would it? But I guess it shouldn't be surprised at the ignorance of the help. Of course, my mistake. But I'd like to take a closer look, if you don't mind. Why would I mind? You're in charge of the premises, not me. And honestly, this is a rather small diamond compared to my own. It's locked tight. No sense in risking it. I need some more inside. Expect another short delay, but stay near. Who's the servant here? Me or you? Inform the others to expect a minor delay and try to keep your hands to yourself. That was a bust. Nothing of use, but at least we've created another delay. More time to search might be advantageous. Indeed, and I find it quite engaging. I'm happy you allowed me to partake in this little adventure. As grateful as I am, I never asked for your help. A gentleman is always eager to help, whether needed or not. Or wanted, or asked for, or allowed. Our exchanges are bordering the trivial. Unless you have a fresh idea for getting into the study, I'll be sampling more of the wine. Yes, of course. I'll be sure to tell you if I find any more of the estate's secrets. I need to wait out here for a bit longer so that everything can go wrong. The word, it feels more faint. I don't get it. It looks like the metal is fracturing, just a small amount. Am I imagining this? Is this really the object the professor sought? What if it breaks apart? I need to keep this a secret. Use it sparingly. If the collar busts, I could be at square one. Finality! Guess I'll go ahead and drop a save. Where did this case come from? There's a massive diamond in it.
Yo.
General Sandow's company is more than welcome, but I can't help but wonder why she was invited. She doesn't seem to know the professor on a personal level, nor is she from my house. Those descriptors can be used on you as well, but that's a rather rude thing to point out. I apologize. It's one thing to support the military from the safety of our borders, but it's an entirely different thing to support from the front lines. I spent 24 years in uniform, rising from a low lieutenant to a full-fledged colonel. Even now, as a well-respected judge, I've never had more pride than when I was serving St. Lauden. When the war started, my greatest regret was not being a young man. Oh, how I'd make a difference if I were called to arms. Having Prettles in the St. Loudon Forces is not only an honor for our house, but an honor for the forces. Our house is so ingrained in military history that if we began to pull out, the country as a whole would lose faith. Do you understand? We experience a sort of celebrity quality. People watch us, and they expect us to commit to our great military generation after generation. Who wants to give me the secret to the house? Sandoff have anything to say about it? General Seymour, that slime. If you find where he hid the museum pieces, it's your duty to inform me. No. You've been acting awful strange lately, Gossip. I can't put my finger on it. If I were a believer in hoodoo voodoo, I'd say even your aura is stronger. You know, I'm not affected by the command anymore. Can I just leave? My business here is done. Whatever the professor hopes to accomplish no longer involves me. When I arrive at Messenbo tomorrow, things are going to change. Yep, with the secret word, I can ignore the mouth. I can just leave. I mean, that's the bad ending, obviously. But maybe it's good enough. Ah, no credits. So am I gonna let the game have the last word on me? And now I'm just...
Hey.
Who wants to say something about, I don't know, the cat? Who wants to say something about, I don't know. I must get the last word, I guess. Alright, Sandoff probably has something new. Okay, so what do I need? I haven't, but still I'd like another chance to talk to the professor. You said to allow it, so I shall. I'm the perfect servant, after all. But be aware that the professor will likely use the mouth once again once you exit. If you have any unfinished business, do it now. Sure, let me in. Listen to that confidence. If my heart didn't belong strictly to the professor, I might concede that you were rather impressive. Hello, Professor. Yes, hello. William says you've been snooping around the estate like a detective. William, however, is quite a bit snoopier. So then he knows? Yes, it's quite obvious and embarrassing. You found a secret room with a portrait of me and my long-deceased cat Harper. He was very dear to me, you understand. I rarely talk to him. Oh, you just mean the portrait. You left the door open. Everyone in the estate knows about it now. Extremely senseless of you. Okay. Is that why you hid it behind the bookshelf? Miss Gossip, I have no idea who put that there, nor can I fathom what purpose it serves. Maybe Mrs. Seymour had a thing for me. I am, after all, just as handsome as I am smart, as you have no doubt noticed. Calm yourself, Miss Gossip. We have no time for that. Plus, it would be inappropriate. You see, there's a secret I must reveal dramatically. And what's that? You and I share a common interest. We're both from Gossip House. Oh no, he's blue! So you finally showed your true color. Okay, that's a good joke. Don't be so... God, you even changed his art. Don't be so surprised. Gossip House has always been known for its engineers. Inventive minds run in a bluish blood. I'm I don't know what we're known for. Photography? But have we met before? Or once when you were very young. You say I'm your first cousin once removed. When Gossip House fell, a few of us that were left had to move on to new professions, so I joined the armed forces under a false name. The world is made of many strings. Pull a few here, snip a few there. Before you know it, you have a new identity. After several decades, I managed to create Chatter's House, and only one person, me, the great Professor Chatters. I shed my rank to an honorary status and tinkered under the government's employ. That is indeed a feat. I had to live with the stigma of the Gossip name all throughout my career as a photographer. Yes, but you were still a babe when Gossip went defunct. You didn't have to watch it crumble like I did. My entire life was... What exactly is your point, Professor? What do you hope to accomplish with me here? The Mouth is funding Chatter's House. St. Lauden's military is relying on this invention to win future wars. Once it's complete, what becomes of me? You see, I'm no fool. When I hand this invention over to the military, there's nothing stopping them from using it against me. I'll be stripped of my house. That's a very good point. I have no doubt about it. We have no use for single-person houses. That's why I need the word. I need protection. If I have the word, I can sell my creation and remain free to do as I wish. That still doesn't excuse you from using your machine on helpless civilians. Helpless, maybe, but I needed them to aid me in finding the word. They all had connections with Mrs. Seymour before she left. Her son, Master Seymour, is an obvious choice, so is Private Prattle's mother, Valor Prattle. Mr. McCall was once a popular boxer. Mrs. Seymour was known to frequent his matches. Rumor said she spoke with McCall after a match, the day before she ran off. It might be a loose lead, but I have to take it. What of General Standoff? What good is having an officer attend your manipulative display? Miss Gossip, the military condoned this party. They sent General Standoff to see how the Mouth affected our soldiers. Looks like we have company. Orange. Well, Professor, I finally managed to worm my way through your door. That servant of yours was no match for my wit. Mrs. Prattle, he was instructed to let you in. You're as low a threat to me as a gnat on the elephant. But I did mean to have a discussion. Do you mean to ask her about the word? I have no other agenda at this point. She will submit to me and give me every detail of her son's departure. Maybe there is a detail I overlooked. Don't you talk about me as if I'm not standing right here. You have single-handedly destroyed the reputation of my son and my house, you cad. You may as well let her alone. Your experiments are over with. I'm stopping them. You certainly have grown some confidence. I've never lacked confidence, Professor Chatters, and now I don't lack ability either. What are you implying? Mrs. Prattle, you're no longer needed in this room. Please see yourself out and wait with the others. You think I'm simply backing away? Ha, you must be kidding yourself, Miss Gossip. I refuse to leave. I plan to head out as well. I think we should both exit together. The professor won't respect our company until he's ready anyhow. After you. Fine, but I insist you exit first. After you. No, after you, Mrs. Prattle. But surely you first, Miss Gossip. Allow me the honor of following your lead. I'll see you outside in a moment. Mingle with the others until I arrive. Well, if you insist. I'm not done with Chatters, but for now I shall enjoy some company over another glass of Harmingdale. The word is just immune. You've found the word, haven't you? Indeed I have, and once I gained control of it, all of your suggestions and commands slipped from me like a heavy blanket of lies. I see. It's not only empowered you, but has also improved your use of imagery. Fascinating. That delicious selection of vocabulary was all me, Professor. I don't need the last word to be stylish. But I do need it to gather the others and retreat. We no longer have business here. I'm willing to let you continue however you like, all alone. I don't suppose I could persuade you to let me handle it a few moments. I appreciate the effort, but no. We're leaving and there's nothing you can do about it. That seems to be the case, doesn't it? What a shame. Alright, Miss Gossip, proceed to the exit property unharmed. Okay? I mean, if that's it, like, that's not much different than just leaving. Oh no, it's the Mouth! Well, Miss Gossip, you made a grievous error in letting me keep control of my brilliant, perfect invention. You could have joined me as a Chatters and enjoyed the luxuries of a proper house once more, but you're too stubborn. What in the heavens is he talking about, Miss Gossip? What were you discussing in there?
The rest of you may be asking what exactly I'm talking about, but that's of no importance. You will be handled in short order. As for you, Miss Gossip, you shall taste the infinite powers of the mouth. This is a true test. Science versus nature. So long as I have my one-way talking device, you can never win.
I don't think so, Professor. Your mechanical trickery doesn't work on someone who always has the last word.
Nonsense! This machine was designed to have the last word.
Well, found out the King of Apes. Did Miss Gossip just respond to that devious fool's godless hunk of metal? Oh, wowzers.
Wait a minute, did I just hear? Where did that audio come from?
From me, Professor.
From you? Out there. What kind of marvel is this? How can your shrill, terrifying voice be coming through my beautiful machine?
The legends prove true, or at least true enough. It has capabilities beyond your fathoming, and well beyond your research.
Astounding! I had no way to anticipate the depths of its effectiveness.
Would someone please tell me what they mean by all this drivel?
Remain composed, Mr. McCall. We're all clueless. Silence is decency.
I agree with McCall. She deserves to be acknowledged at the very least. I believe if we stay settled, we can...
Enough squawking. This is too juicy to miss.
I must rescind my previous congeniality. My trust has evaporated. Your attempt to restrict us epitomizes bad form. It is foul behavior, unbecoming of a man of your status.
And unbefitting of a host, I say.
I can handle this, Mr. Boasting. But yes, he has a point. Your hosting abilities leave much to be desired. I no longer intend to let you keep playing with your toys.
Quite bold, aren't we? You've proven nothing except that your voice echoes through the walls. Hold your tongue. Nobody steps 1 foot from this property, and that's that.
I vividly suggest heeding his commands. I will not be ordered about any longer. Back down, Professor.
Scoff! After you, Miss Gossip.
That's too many handshakes. First, let's get off of lose. No, he's gonna put me right back on it. Immune!
This is impossible. How dare you resist?
I need to be careful. It feels like the mouth is impacting the collar more than usual. I can feel the metal splitting against my neck. I have no idea what happens if it breaks completely. I doubt anything good. My victory needs to be swift. A few subtle hits like this will bring me out of the danger zone. The mouth doesn't have a level, meaning no matter how much you grind, this fight will always be the same. Excepting for how much you, for how many skills you have and such. I need to reduce my anger. There, that gets it a lot of points off. And he puts it right back on. Circle's beaten by square. Stars beaten by circle, which I don't have enough for. And that puts me out of the danger zone pretty well, and he's now uncivilized. Next turn he's going to hit me really hard, though. So circle is beaten by square. Star is beaten by circle. Gotcha! Although he probably has one free hit. Yeah. Square is beaten by star. I gotta get some tact back. I'm running out of bow tie. Beaten by circle. It'll give me some power and tact. Puts me right back on it. Uh-oh. Oh, it might break my heart. I can start using that star tactic again. Alright, got him again. Only 38 experience. That's so lame. Kablamo! I made it grow a bow tie. That's some powerful magic. That was rather unexpected. You can say that again, my dear. Quite the spectacle, although the bow tie is a bit much. Wait until my husband hears about this. You'll never believe the horrors I've witnessed. Oh, well, at least the wine was good, eh? Oh-ho! Let's say we've had a fine evening and see ourselves out, Mr. McCall. Level 6 hidden word. I don't care. I need a few moments to digest what just happened, but I can do that while we breathe some fresh air. Anyone care to join us? I could use some fresh air as well. This manor has been getting awfully stuffy. I can't believe that His machine must have malfunctioned. There's no other explanation. No other explanation. Have your eyes been... The general is correct. The professor was complaining to me about malfunctions while I was in his study. What was the malfunction? Can it be fixed? That's not within my field of knowledge. It sounded as if you knew the mouth wouldn't survive the night. What of the charade you were engaged in? What did you mean by it all? The professor coaxed me into it. I doubt it was more than an effort to save face. Yes, it all makes sense. He needed someone else to blame for his incompetence, right? If he could persuade us that you were in some way manipulating his invention with an outside source, I fear it's too obvious a farce for me to become his scapegoat. The fact that his machine was doomed to fail, and this was all a poor act. What a shame. As inconvenient as this was, his idea would have been a useful upgrade to the prototypes we currently handle. Leave the professor to gather his wits for now. I'm sure he's suffering from his embarrassments, but don't let him sneak away. I have plenty of questions left for him. If you need me, I'll be standing guard at the front door. Amazing. I can't believe you fibbed so easily. And to think I almost spilled the beans about the word. How foolish. Oh my. And that explosion, are you alright? Of course, I've honestly never felt better. A little small part of me worries I may have killed the man. I can't imagine it did much harm. Sticks and stones can break your bones, but words can never hurt you. I never heard a more ridiculous rhyme in my entire life. You truly are ignorant, Seymour. Yeah, I'm sorry, but that has me thinking. How would you feel about, becoming a member of the Seymour House? Seymour, for the last time, we've only just met. Stop flirting with me. No. I mean, we may have to juggle some legal paperwork, but I'm not trying to be romantic. Seymour House has been in a mess since Mother left it in my hands. It's on the decline. But you, even without the last word, you could help. Seymour House needs a strong master, and you need a new house. It's a win-win.
Hey.
What's wrong? Nothing's wrong, Seymour. For the first time since I've met you, you've made me truly speechless. Quite impressive, really. I'll have to think about it. You're unscathed. For the most part, physically at least. Thank the heavens. Emotionally, I am in a bad way. One could even say I'm suffering from incurable anger. That can be a tad annoying. My psyche barely holds together. My only solace is that I've discovered the word exists, just as gloriously as I had envisioned. I've experienced its awful force firsthand, and have lived to repeat the tale. But you knew that the mouth was no match. Always, dear William. My invention didn't stand a chance from conception. Pride blinded me, perhaps. Some believe the properties of that stone hold our country into place, the progenitor of our basic laws of communication. How grand would it have did my creation rival that of Mother Nature, to get the last word against the last word? I would be first to applaud you, but your immovable masterpiece would trap us here, the military barking at our threshold. Whereas before we could pawn the mouth away and at least have our safety, now your arrogance has left us with nothing. It would have been madness not to risk one final attempt at possessing the stone, should I have rested on my laurels. There was no alternative. You have other choices. There are less civil ways of solving such issues, and they are often more effective than chit-chat. Yes, so you've said. We've discussed this to death. Does William know about overwhelming violence? A true gentleman does not lower himself to whatever barbarisms you are implying. Your aristocratic nature proves meaningless outside of this enriched world. St. Laudon may boast of civility, but we commoners are far removed from the laws that line your cradles and fill your spoons. Whatever the news journals may assert, St. Laudon is hardly the bastion of modernity. Filth lines the gutters, we grow brown with it, and in some ways we all end up servants. I may soon buckle under your point of view, William. This life of prestige flickers away like the embers of my precious hard work. First Gossip House was taken from me, now Chatter's House. If the fates exist, they demand to be elsewhere. Beautifully said. I have a single tear welling up from your eloquent monologue. A small tear, but no less dense with admiration. However, we must part, and with haste. True, no allies linger beyond our door. Rest well. Let us be off, then. I can't tell if he knew the stone was there. Like, oh, that diamond. Like, clearly he knows about the Philosopher's Stone. But does he know it is literally in the house with him, and does he know it has been unearthed? Like, I mean, he doesn't know everything about the house. He may have not known about that secret compartment. But, like, it's just sitting there. They're gonna leave and be like, hey, that's the Philosopher's Stone. That can probably beat the last word. Or at least nullify it. Yeah, I'm not terribly impressed. You know what? You know what game uses the Philosopher's Stone's old meaning of turning words into power? I think better than this. Is Lifeline, baby! The PS2 game that you control with your voice. The main character had her heart replaced with the Philosopher's Stone, and that's why she's able to turn your commands into surviving and winning against the calamitous events of the game. Now that game was wild. Like, oh man, the writing's not good or anything, but you just want to see what it's gonna do next. Bit of an anticlimactic ending. There's clearly another ending. If you need level 6 secret word, and I don't care. I don't get good endings. I got credits. We take those. So yeah, there's clearly something that if you max out all of your phrases, and then you do something, and maybe you beat Boast in a conversation, and I don't care. So there's another ending. But like, I ain't getting it. Maybe if the game had impressed me, I would try. But it didn't. It even had a but it refused battle, and it still was not impressed. But it refused battles are always good, but not this one. I'm playing with a pen over here. This is the last word. Just do this to someone. But whatever, I beat it. And there are good games coming up. Back to Jimmy tomorrow, and back to Golden Treasure after that. Those are good ones. Yeah, me too. Are you staying here, Seymour?
Hey.
I think I will. It's kind of nice to be back in my childhood home. Yes, but you don't own the estate anymore. The property still belongs to Chattershouse. Then my first task as of today will be to send a letter to the McCall house to see if there's some way to manipulate the paperwork. With the professor's experiment destroyed, I see no reason why he'll want to keep living here. Look at you, making a plan all by yourself. Make the Seymours proud.
Hey.
What about you? Where are you going? We've been up all night. I have work in a few hours. Remember, I'm still a commoner. No rest for me. What about my offer to join Seymour House? You're gonna have to give me more time to think than a few minutes. A lot of paths have opened up for me now. I'm not going to commit to anything until I've mulled over my priorities. That's sensible. Don't give me that face, Seymour. Your offer is currently my top prospect. Just handle this place until I get back to you.
Hey.
I can try. Yes, I will. Good. But you know what I still don't understand? Level 5 photography. Well, actually it isn't that important. I'll try to think about it more tomorrow. Mr. Boasting, you're leaving too? Ah, yes, Miss Gossip. I've worn out my welcome, as I'm sure we all have. Oh-ho. What did you make of the night's activities? It's a strange place we live in, you two. I've traveled far and wide, and I can say there's literally no place quite like St. Lauden. The professor tried to change the way the world around him worked, and I respect as much, but sometimes you just have to be satisfied. That's all well and good, but I wasn't being philosophical. I know you weren't, but I finally let the wine get to me. Even a boasting has its limits. What do you say you and I head out so that young Master Seymour can finalize his duties, eh? Yeah, no need to stick around, Liddy. We can figure this out sometime later. Of course. Good night, Seymour. Indeed, Mr. Boasting, we should be off. After you. Oh, it would be my pleasure, Miss Gossip. Yeah, like if you max out all the stats, you can go to that doll and input the code, and then that'll probably open the cupboard with the Philosopher's Stone, and then you're like, I have the word on the stone! Unlimited power! Words. And then you get the good ending. There, I did it. I figured it out. And then in the good ending, you talk them into submission. Real good. Incidentally, for Jimmy, I grinded all the tickets for all of the good items from the arcade, including the crayons and such, and the anti-personnel bubble, which means if I ever want to turn off encounters, I can. And a more intended silver band item that just turns off encounters. But also, I got the first of the stones, which are a bunch of Good for you. Which are a bunch of collectibles showing completion of the game, because I got high scores on all the arcade games, and that's really annoying. But also now, the short version of this, me bearing the lead, is that Jimmy now has 390 magic attack, and does somewhere in the order of 870 damage with his AoE fireball. And that means he'll do around 1,200? No, more than that. Oh yeah, with using mana burn. So that means he'll do about probably 2,000 damage or so with the Dark Fountain attack off Vampire. Although it'll be a little less because it's 390 in pumpkin form, and Vampire has 10% less magic attack. At any rate, now Jimmy is a monster, and so you're gonna see him be a lot stronger than last time with the power.